Now, are we okay with word problems here? Finding the linear function with given 2 points. Identifying the slope, reading points from the graph, finding the domain and range of a graph. Okay, so let's go back then. Anything in chapter 6 which was about factoring? Anything in chapter 6? I mean, we did the whole thing. Solving equations that are quadratic in form, which we did in chapter 11. Right. Okay, very good. So let's go back then to chapter 4. Chapter 4 was about systems, solving systems of linear equations and word problems. So maybe we should start with a word problem. Okay, very good. Let me look at the review. The Forest Theater, problem 38 on page 302. 38 on page 302. The Forest Theater can seat a total of 360 people. They take in $15,150 when every seat is sold. If orchestra section tickets cost $45 in the orchestra section, and balcony tickets cost $35, find the number of seats in the orchestra section and the number of seats in the balcony. How many variables we have in this problem? 2. How many equations we have to write? 2. Very good. So I'm going to say X is the number of tickets or number of seats in the orchestra, and Y is the number of seats in the balcony. Good. So I'm ready when you are ready.
45x plus yx equals 15,100.
45x plus 35y equals 15,150. Perfect. That's about money. Money plus money equals money.
And now we have the people, right?
Yes,
Plus y equals 350.
that's it. How do I solve this system? It's a system of 2 linear equations in 2 variables. What will be the first step?
We have several methods, right?
Yes, you can use substitution, you can use elimination. I prefer multiplying both sides by negative of the second equation by negative 35 and eliminating y. So I have 45x plus 35y equals 15150, and then negative 35x, negative 35y equals negative. I multiply 35 by 360. And I get 12600. So then this is 10x, this is gone, and this is 2550. So then x equals 2550 for orchestra. So if I know that x plus y is 360, then y must be 360 minus 255, right? What do we get? That's it. So I claim that the system has this solution. And you should not believe me. You should say check. So then 255 and 105 is indeed 360. That part I don't have to check. But here I have 255 and 105. And I will put in the calculator and make sure that 45 times 255 and plus 35 times 105 is indeed 15,150, and it is. So this must be it. So that was the entire chapter. Chapter 4 only deals with solving systems of linear equations in 2 variables. We did not do the 3 variables. We used to, but not anymore in this course. Can't think of anything else. Can you think of anything else? Is there anything else that you...
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, we have to look at the relationships between variables. Direct, inverse, and joint. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at that. Was at the end of chapter 9. Chapter 9. Actually, it's the end of chapter 8, not 9. Sorry. Okay. According to Boyle's law, the pressure exerted by a gas is inversely proportional to the volume. The pressure is inversely proportional with the volume, as long as the temperature stays the same. So what is the relationship or the equation that I have to write? P varies inversely or is inversely proportional to the volume. What is the equation I have to write?
P equals whatever V.
But K.
Okay.
So there must be a constant of proportionality. I cannot assume that P is 1 over V. It may be 1 over V, but I have to determine that. Good. Now I can read on. If a gas exerts a pressure of 1,250 pounds, 1,250 pounds per square inch, when the volume is 2 cubic feet. Why is this given to us?
Let's convert to inches.
Nope. No. Let's very good point you're making. It says we have to keep the measurement units we are given, so we don't have to convert anything. If a gas exerts a pressure of 1,250 pounds per square inch, when the volume is 2 cubic feet, why is this information given to us? It will enable us to do what? Exactly. If without K, I don't have the relationship. After I have K, then I have the relationship. So 1250 equals K divided by 2. What do? And now I know how to do this, right? So K equals 125 times 2, 250 with a 0. So now I have the relationship. So it was not 1. It's very rarely that it happens to be 1. This is the correct relationship between the connects P and V. Okay, now I can read the question. Find the volume when the pressure is 800 pounds per square inch. Find the volume when the pressure is 800 pounds per square inch. So I will write 800 equals 2,500 divided by V. I know what this is. Cross multiply. So then 800 V equals 2,500. Simplify by 100 first, so V equals 25 divided by 8 cubic inches. And of course, you can write 3.125 cubic inches. Any questions? Is there anything else that you can think of?
I have to do this. I have to.
Yes, but please redo all tests at least twice with solutions.
You said they're online, the tests?
Everything. Yes. Tests and solutions are online. The other thing that I was going to say, to ask you, Mike, when do you think we are going to take the final?
I was gonna take next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, in the testing center.
Is that a thing?
Okay, they have it already,
So
You can
from
take it
now
in.
to next Wednesday.
anytime.
Okay.
Very good. What else would you like me to do? Is there any problem that you can think of that you would like to practice some more?
Maybe more stuff from chapter 9, I think.
The absolute value
The
equations and inequalities and
graphing ones that we did.
oh yeah, sure.
Just maybe another one of those.
Yes, of course. Let's choose another graph. Let's work on 52 on page 583. X minus 2y greater than or equal to 7 and x plus y less than or equal to negative 5. Would you like to work on it for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's work on this for 1 minute. What about completing the square if you need another problem?
But
What about finding the inverse with the 4-step procedure, the inverse of a function? You are given a function that is 1 to 1, and how do you find the inverse function? Okay, ready? You need more time?
no, go ahead.
Mike, you need more time?
I think I'm good.
Okay, so first I have to write x minus 2y equals 7. So when x is 0, y equals negative 7 halves, so 0, negative 7 halves. When y is 0, I get x equals 7 or 7 comma 0. I plot these two. 7, 0 is easy. And 0, comma, negative 3.5. I look, it has the equal symbol. It has to be a solid line. On the line, I write x minus 2y equals 7. Then I plug in 0, 0, because I'm checking the upper territory. And when I plug in 0, 0, I get that 0 is going to equal to 7, which is wrong. Therefore, I have to shade in the opposite. So this is the x minus 2y greater than or equal to 7. I repeat the steps for x plus y equals negative 5. So x plus y equals negative 5. When x is 0, y is negative 5. So 0, negative 5. When y is 0, x is negative 5. So negative 5, 0. So now I plot negative 5, 0. And 0, negative 5. So this was 3.545. Solid line, yes. So this is x minus 2, or x plus y equals negative 5. Then I plug in 0, 0, and I'm checking this territory. So let's see what I get. With 0, 0, 0 less than or equal to negative 5? No. So I cannot shade in this. I have to shade in this. And this is x plus y less than or equal to negative 5. Now I have to intersect the pink and the blue. This line, this point, the vertex, or the, I shouldn't say the vertex, the point of intersection if you want. It is called vertex, but, and all this, because that's where they intersect. So this is both at the same time. Complete the square, yes or no? Okay, so let's complete the square, and that is in chapter 11. And let's choose a problem. At the end of 11, I'm looking at, I can make one up if I can find one quickly. Okay. Yes. 4x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 0. We're asked to solve by completing the square. What do I have to do first for sure?
I usually move the negative 1.
You can, that's fine. Let's do that first, it's okay.
The number 2.
I have to divide by 4, both sides, even if 4 is not a common factor, because the leading coefficient must be 1. So that's the first step. So this is x squared plus 1/2 x equals 1/4. Only now I can start the procedure, the 4-step procedure. The middle coefficient is 1/2. When I divide it by 2, always remember when you divide a fraction by 2, you're really multiplying it by 1/2. So it's 1/4. And when I square 1/4, I get 1/16. And this is the number that I must add to both sides. So then, have x squared plus 1/2 x plus 1/16 equals 1/4 plus 1/16. This left-hand side is a perfect square now. X plus 1/4, very good. And here the least common denominator is 6, and I have to multiply the top by 4. 5/6, 16th. So I cannot finish unless I remember that I need to take the square root. And this is x plus 1/4. And if I forget something very important, then I don't.
Minus,
Plus and minus the square root of 5 over 4.
How do you get x plus 1/4 squared?
First term squared plus 2 times the first times the second plus the second term squared. So then x equals negative 1/4 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 4. What about finding the inverse function of a function? So let's say I'm given f of x, which is the cube root of x plus 1 minus 2. And this is a one-to-one function, and I would like to find its inverse. Yes, f is replaced by y, very good, first. And then swap x equals the cube root of y plus 1 minus 2 for y. And what is the next step? I cannot. I have to add 2 first. And then very good. Raise everything to the third power. Excellent. No, I cannot. I cannot expand that. There are 4 terms in there. So this is y plus 1. So therefore y equals 2 cubed minus 1. And this is the f inverse. X plus 2 to the third minus 1. What about complex numbers? Any questions on complex numbers? Okay. I squared is negative 1, and I is the square root of negative 1. What if I'm given, let's say, problem 47, on 709, I have f of x equals x minus 4 squared minus 2. Can anyone identify the vertex with no calculations? Careful. 4 comma negative 2. When we move 4, so x squared is here, but x minus 4 is here at 4. And then down 2. Okay. Solving equations quadratic in form. This is what you had on the previous test. Not test 4, but test 3. Anything else that you can think of? The testing center is calling me. What is this? Hello? Yes, hi. Okay. Yes. 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 I know. He's the best student I've ever had in Math 151. And I'm really hoping that he's going to get the valedictorian because he is a wonderful young man. He has a 4.0 GPA and he's moving to George Washington University. Very well. Yes, he participated in a tournament 2 weeks ago. I had 9 students, and he was one of them. And they and I went to Carroll County Community College for our 9th tournament. Ninth, yes, and he math tournament. He's exceptional. He really deserves to be our valedictorian this year. Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. All his grades are above 100%. Yes, he is absolutely exceptional. Yes, he really deserves it, and I'm so happy that I looked at the phone. I'm sorry, I'm keeping 2 of my students waiting right now, and I have to apologize to them. But do you need anything else about Stephen? Oh, yes, of course. He is extremely reliable, and he will make the college proud everywhere he goes. And call me anytime if you have anything else, if you have other questions about him. Thank you. Bye bye. I thought it was the copy center, the testing center, because the numbers are always the same.
Yeah.
If somebody calls you from the college, it will not show the extension. It will only show 777-2222. So I thought it was somebody taking the test, because I also have an online class, and sometimes they catch them with cheat sheets in their bras, and they always call me. Your student was cheating.
No, were you?
Yeah, yeah. I haven't had anything late in the last 2 years or so, but in the past I had. So they have my cell phone number and they call. No, it was about one of my students. He was selected to be our valedictorian this commencement. Yeah, 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 yeah. He is actually a full-time student now, but he used to work, and a company offered him salary and full tuition to go to school full-time. Yeah, and he was selected, and he put me as a reference, and that's the reason why they were calling. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry for the interruption. My mistake. So that's the vertex. Good. What was I saying? We looked at this 4-step procedure. We looked at the vertex of what is the other possibility? For example, when f of x, let's say I'm given x squared minus 6x plus 8, how do I determine the vertex if the quadratic function is given to us in this way? Yes, negative b over 2a, which is negative. This is negative 6 over 2 times a, which is 3. Yes, and this will be nothing else but f of 3. So f of 3 will be 9 minus 18 plus 8. This is 17, and this is negative 1. Will this function have a minimum or a maximum? Right. Will this function cross the x-axis or not?
Yes.
Yes, because the minimum is negative. Perfect. So in that case, what will be the discriminant? Which is b squared minus 4ac. Will it be 0? Will it be positive, or will it be negative? Yes. Since there are 2 real solutions and the quadratic function crosses twice, it must be positive. What will be the discriminant if the function does not touch the x-axis? It cannot be positive, correct? And it cannot be 0, because if it's 0, it touches the x-axis. So then it must be, exactly, it must be negative, so I cannot take the square root from it. The numbers are imaginary. Very good. Is there anything else you can think of? I hope you're going to move on to the next class soon. Do not allow a year, 2 semesters between this class and the next math class.
No, I have to because.
I have a student in my Calc 1 class who took pre-calculus 2 years ago. He does not remember how to add 1/2 to 1/3.
No. You
So
tell me,
we do forget, right? So 2 years. Do not allow 2 years between math classes
No,
because you're going to have to start from scratch. It's not a laughing matter. I'm just saying we all forget.
yeah, I mean, if you never have anything happen in the future.
Right. So check your major. Check what path you have to be on.
Yeah.
Check your major and check. Now, if you do take a math class over the summer, I recommend do not take more than 1 class.
No, I can't. I'm going to Spain.
Okay.
So, it's gonna be on fall, and it's based on the University of America, UMCD. I don't remember that.
UMBC?
Yeah. No,
UMUC,
exactly.
Okay.
Because it's
University College.
You transfer all my credits.
Okay.
To
So,
account.
Mike, what is your next step?
I'm not sure, but I believe this was the math class that I need